The sender starts with, I'm shitting my brains out in a porta potty at mile 13. There's no toilet paper. This is like dropping 3 musketeers at the bridge with no warning. It's an all-in play, way too much information, very aggressive, and completely exposes their position. There's no defense, just panic. The coach replies with, on my way. This is a solid Zap plus Valkyrie combo. Calm, prepared, and supportive. He's clearly been in this kind of matchup before and knows exactly how to respond. Then suddenly a new player enters. Jeffrey Goldberg says, hello? This is Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. Not sure how I got added to this, but this seems quite intimate, so I'm going to leave. This is like a spectator accidentally getting pulled into a 1 versus 1 ladder match mid-game. He didn't queue up for this and doesn't even know what deck is being played. He's confused, horrified, and immediately logs off. He wasn't supposed to be in the match, but still walked away traumatized. The game was never meant for him, but he got caught in the crossfire. The other person opens with, wanna have fun. This is like placing elite barbarians at the bridge first play. No warm-up, no strategy, just trying to rush tower with raw pressure. The reply is, in what way? Which is a calm and measured Tesla in the middle. Defensive, waiting to see what's coming. They follow up with, are you down here to see something sexy? And are you hard or soft right now? This is like adding a rage spell and mirror E-barbs to the same lane. Full send. No thought about counters, just going all in blindly. The response, I don't got a dick, is a complete freeze spell on their entire push. Everything stops. The pressure collapses instantly. Then comes the clarification. I'm trans, I am a boy, but I don't got no dick. This is the equivalent of dropping royal recruits across both lanes. It resets the game completely. New win conditions. They weren't ready for this. The other person says, come on, are you kidding me? That's a missed rocket. They weren't expecting this, and now they're just wasting elixir out of frustration. The final reply is, nah, I'm just that hot, but it's cool, sorry to disappoint. That's a perfectly timed fireball and emote combo. Confident, controlled, and cleanly ends the exchange. The stranger opens with, wanna see my dick. This is the texting equivalent of dropping a goblin barrel onto the tower with no setup and no thought. It's rushed, desperate, and immediately obvious what kind of game they're trying to play. No strategy. Just spam. You reply with, no, I'm a lesbian. This is a perfect counter, like placing log directly on the goblin barrel. Clean, fast, and shuts the whole push down without taking any damage. The response is calm and efficient. The stranger disconnects right after. That's a rage quit. They lost 1 interaction and gave up the whole match. No attempt to adapt or defend, they just left the game. You open with, hey, and the stranger responds with, hi. This is a standard opening, like cycling skeletons or ice spirit, nothing unusual, just a regular start to the match. You follow up with, hru, still casual, like playing a passive tombstone, just trying to feel out what kind of opponent you're dealing with. Then the stranger suddenly says, do you want to cut my dick off? This is like dropping a graveyard plus rage plus clone combo on your own king tower. It's unexpected, chaotic, and disturbing. Not only is it a weird play, it doesn't belong on the battlefield at all. It's a total self-sabotage. There was no build-up, no logic, and no reason. The conversation was normal and then instantly flipped upside down. The conversation starts calmly with, hey Sarah, you're probably still asleep. This is like opening the match by cycling something light, like skeletons or ice spirit. It's harmless and casual, just easing into things. Then the next messages say, feels weird to text you since we broke up. And, but I gotta tell us something. This feels like playing a passive elixir collector. It signals that something important is coming, but it's not an attack yet. It's build up. Suddenly, someone else replies, instead of Sarah, saying Sarah's still sleeping. Gave her a wild night. What do you want to tell her? Loser. That's an aggressive, overconfident push. Like dropping a goblin giant at the bridge with a rage spell already in hand. It's flashy, cocky, and way too early to gloat. Then the final message comes in. Tell her my HIV test came back positive. Thanks, champ. That's the equivalent of a perfectly timed rocket hitting their entire push. It's a hard counter, completely unexpected, and shuts everything down in one hit. The other person clearly didn't see it coming. They thought they were winning, but instantly lost the match in one move. The conversation starts with the girl saying, Craig, I'm going to be honest, then follows it with, you have the same name as my dad, and it's throwing me off a little. She's being polite but setting a clear boundary. She's uncomfortable, and this is her way of softening the blow. Think of it like easing into a rejection. She's saying it's not gonna work because of something out of his control. Then, after some time, Craig replies with, "That's okay, I prefer to go by my nickname anyway." This is a smooth recovery. He doesn't get defensive. Instead, he pivots. He keeps the conversation alive and adds a little mystery with the idea of a nickname. She responds with, "Oh yeah? What's that?" Now she's curious. Despite her earlier hesitation, she leans in. She's giving him a chance to recover. Then Craig drops the punchline. "Daddy." It's bold. It completely flips the mood. He's leaning into the discomfort with confidence. This type of line either lands perfectly or ruins everything instantly. There's no in between. In this text exchange, the conversation starts strong, much like a well-played royal giant pushing forward with enthusiasm. The second message, offering to let the other person pick the movie, keeps the flow going, similar to a solid ice spirit that maintains momentum. However, when the person asks, "How tall are you?" it's like trying to predict with arrows, an offbeat move that risks disrupting the conversation's flow. The response, 5'7", haha, why, is like a defensive ice golem trying to neutralize the awkwardness, but not quite recovering the smooth interaction. Finally, the last message, "Oh my god, my friend is stuck at the airport," is an attempt to salvage the situation, similar to a last-minute counterpush, but it feels rushed and leaves the conversation feeling awkward, like a tower falling after a failed defense.